All right, everyone, let's go ahead and do this one. This is homework number 3 for chapter 1. All right, so um, see, solve each of the following equations. Right, so you might remember this from middle school or maybe earlier on in your math career, but in order to solve this, you can go ahead and do something called cross product, okay, or cross multiply. So 18 times m is 18m equals, and do a cross product this way, 6 times 15. Okay, if you don't know, use a calculator. Luckily, I pulled out a calculator. So, oops. So we got 15 times 6, or 6 times 15, doesn't matter, but you get 90. So 18m equals 90. Right, and you're going to go ahead and try to think about, what would m have to be? All right, and some of you guys may already know this, but in order to solve for this one, you can think about it or do guessing checking, but I'm going to go ahead and do a solving. I'm going to go ahead and take out the multiplication by 18 by dividing by 18. So we want to do the opposite, or the inverse operation. So we're going to do 90 divided by 18. That gets us 5. So our m equals 5. Okay, that's for A. For B, again, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to cross multiply or do a cross product. So 7a equals, and then we're going to do 4 times pi. And, in high school, we leave it as pi. Okay, we don't go 3.14. In order to solve for A, I'm going to go ahead and do the opposite or the inverse operation of multiplication by 7, which is division by 7. And these are going to cancel. And we will get A is equal to 4 pi over 7. And that's all we do. We're not going to go ahead and use a calculator or anything. So part A, that's our answer. Part B, that's our answer. Okay, evaluate the following absolute value expressions. Right, so first one, absolute value of 100 is, absolute value of negative 100 is 100. Minus 98 is 2. That's your answer. Next one, absolute value of negative 13 is 13. Plus absolute value of 0 is 0, and then your answer, 13 plus 0 is 13. Two minus 8, you will get 5, and the absolute value of 2 minus 8 is negative 6. Absolute value of absolute value of negative 6 is 6. 5 times 6 is 30. Last one, 14 minus, and the absolute value of 10 minus, negative 10 plus 3, that gets you negative 7. Use a calculator if you have to. Absolute value of negative 7 is positive 7. And then 14 minus 7 is 7. Okay, back page, graph the data. All right, in order to graph the data, I'm going to go ahead and create my own graph here. Just looking at that, it looks like I have to go from 1 to 5, and then I have to go all the way up to about maybe 6. So I'm just going to go ahead and do my best. And that's why I left you some space, because you are going to do your best. So you have the y-axis and your x-axis. And we're doing all the way to 5. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we can go as high as about 5.2. So we're going to go 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can see I'm just freehanding it. Nothing special. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and graph it. So at 1, it's going to be 0.5. So at 1, it's going to be 0.5, which is about a half. At 2, it's going to be 0.9, which is almost 1. That's 2. At 3, it's going to be 1.6, so a little bit past 1.5. At 4, it's going to be 2.9, so 2. At 4, it's going to be 2, not 0.9, so that means almost 3. And at 5, it's going to be 5.2. So a little bit over 5. Fully describe the data, right? Or fully describe the graph. I mean, there's not much information. I mean, it's doing a slight curve up. Excuse that, everyone. Okay. If you use a function to model the data, sorry about that, guys.
Make sure to head on over to Focoigo Club at the cafeteria at this time. The room will be open at 3:45. Glass Gaming Club and Beef Club in room 703. In the library, we have Gaming Club, Esports Club, Chess Club, Lego Club. If you need help with any homework assignments, the library is open for all students to receive tutorial help until 6 p.m. Late buses, there's a 4:30 and 6 o'clock late bus. And lastly, snacks are canceled for today. Have a good day.
So I graphed it. That was part A. Part B says fully describe the graph. I'm calling the graph discrete because discrete are just points, right? And it follows that of a curve. Okay, meaning that if I was to graph this, it would maybe follow a curve like format, okay, and not a line, right? Because a line would be, can I do that, or can I do that, like something that's straight, but it follows out of a curve. And C, if you use a function to model this data, it would make sense to limit the maximum and minimum values for jump height. Why? What are reasonable limits for maximum and minimum for the jump height? I mean, you think about it. I mean, what's the minimum that somebody can jump, right? So I would say minimum would be, you know what? Writing too big. I'll say the minimum would be 0 because somebody can jump 0 height, right? Or right above 0. Maybe if somebody doesn't jump, you don't consider it jumping. And the maximum would be, I don't know, what's the highest somebody can jump, right? So you might have to look online. I'll go with, I don't know, maybe 10 feet, right? Maybe somebody can jump 10 feet. So it's good to have a limit, and because the limit shows you the extreme